the graduating class please be seated? Thank you, Alan. Alan performing on our brand new organ. Good morning and welcome to today's 93rd commencement ceremony. Graduates, parents and families, faculty, trustees, staff, and friends. It's been quite a year, quite an amazing year. Tremendous number of fantastic concerts and events, and our graduates have given us some of the most fantastic performances we've had the pleasure to hear, and so we're incredibly grateful for everything that's been accomplished this year. And considering that it was our 101st year after last year's centennial celebrations, it's been really a great thing to see that the momentum that was established during the centennial has just continued. So it's been really a beautiful year, and I want to thank everybody for all the work that they've done. To get us started, I'm going to introduce to you our two graduating student speakers, Nikan Kanate and Ben Price. Nikan, from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, entered Curtis in 2024 and is the Edwin B. Garrigues Fellow, studying opera with Julia Faulkner and Amanda Majeski. Ivorian Rwandese soprano Nikan Ingabire Kanate recently completed her Bachelor of Music degree in performance at the University of Toronto under the tutelage of Nathalie Paulin. With Curtis Opera Theatre, she has portrayed the narrator in Sarajevo's La Pasión de Simón, Fortuna and Ottavia in George Lewis's Comet Popea. As soloist, she headlined a concert with the string orchestra of the Festival de l'Art de la Musique in Gatineau under the direction of Cédrine and Valérie Depas in July of 2023. She has also performed Carlo Alberto Pinto Fonseca's Missa Afro-Brasileira with the Nathaniel Dett Chorale at Kerner Hall in Toronto. She is the winner of the first prize and the Audience Prize Choice Prize at the 2025 Canadian Opera Company Ensemble Studio Competition and received the Audience Choice Award at Opera de Montreal's Talent Gala. Next season, Nikan will join the Canadian Opera Company's prestigious Ensemble Studio in Toronto. Ben Price from Portland, Oregon, entered Curtis in 2022 and is the Anderson and Daria Pugh Fellow, studying oboe with Catherine Needleman and Philippe Tondre. Ben is an oboist and creative, committed to telling stories and creating memories through music. Central to their artistic philosophy is the belief that music is a universal language. Drawing on historically informed performance practices, Ben brings this language to life with eloquent insight, whether as a soloist, as a chamber musician, or orchestral performer. In addition to the Curtis Symphony Orchestra, Ben frequently performs with the New York Symphony Orchestra and Symphony NC, where they serve as principal oboe. They are a former member of the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra and three-time participant in Carnegie Hall's National Youth Orchestra, where they toured Europe and performed Mahler's Symphony No. 5. Ben has been invited to perform at festivals such as Colorado College, Sarasota, Spoleto USA, and Orpheus PDX. As soloist and chamber musician, Ben is passionate about reviving neglected works, presenting music by composers like J.S. Bach, Jean Coulthard, and Ruth Crawford Seeger. They also performed with the Curtis New Music Ensemble and featured in multimedia projects like Paul Taylor Dance Company's site-specific dances. Highlights of Ben's 25-26 season included performing Richard Strauss' Oboe Concerto and Bach's Oboe d'Amour Concerto. Please welcome Kanate and Ben.
President Díaz, Chair Fretz, Provost DiBerardino, Maestro Gilbert, distinguished guests, family and friends, fellow graduates, good morning. It's an honor to be addressing you all on our special day.
When we were asked to give this speech, the first thing I did was to say yes, and then about 30 minutes later, on cue, I thought, oh crap, that means I actually have to say something meaningful. Thankfully for you and me both, Nikan has agreed to say all of the sentimental things.
Let's hope I can get through this without crying.
All right, now let's get down to brass tacks. What is the purpose of a graduation ceremony? Of a graduation speech? I don't purport to answer these questions with any sort of finality, but what I can offer you is a lens through which to read. The word graduate, depending on who you ask, originates from the Latin word gradus, which means a step. Furthermore, the step was a standard unit of distance in Roman times, equivalent to roughly 2.5 modern feet.
I bet you didn't think you'd be getting a history lesson this morning.
All of this to say that the graduation is really just an artificial delineation, a way to process before and after. We are gathered here today, then, to celebrate this imaginary crossing of the line, not just for all that which we have accomplished, but all that we are yet to do.
Okay, now that the philosophizing has concluded, now is the part where we share our favorite memories from our time at Curtis. I had my first operatic roles here, and being part of the productions was incredibly challenging, but always rewarding. Some things I won't miss, though. I will never forget opening night of La Passion de Simone with the orchestra on stage behind us, and the monitors were out the whole performance, and we were just flying blind, couldn't see the conductor, so please never again, please.
My first class at Curtis was the Curtis Seminar with Mr. Tim Fitz, who's here with us today. 3 years later, I still find it hard to summarize this class, but the best way to do so is to note that at the start of week 3, Mr. Fitz told us we'd be meeting in the dining hall from then on. Now, this class met at 9 a.m. on Mondays and Thursdays, and so I was not at all unhappy to have an excuse to wake up at 8:57 and eat my breakfast in class, but I still had no idea what the point of it was. I later realized the point after I observed the rapid increase in class participation after this room change. I share this anecdote not only for contractual reasons, but because I think it represents the best of Curtis. Things may not always be what we expect, but sometimes that's much better for cultivating the creative gesture. I'll miss a lot about Curtis, but most of all, I'll miss the magic of a great idea and not quite enough time, knowing the beginning and the end and getting to discover the middle, and being in a position to believe in others as they believe in me.
What I'll miss the most are the people I met here. Not just the teachers, coaches, and guest artists that pushed us to the next level, but the incredible support from the entire community. Students, staff, donors, and even beloved frequent audience members. When we're in the thick of it here, it's easy to forget how lucky we are to be surrounded by so much talent in these halls. The friendships we built here will stay with us forever, and so will all the amazing memories we've made along the way. I learned so much simply by watching all of you, and I cannot wait to see all the fabulous things you will accomplish after Curtis.
Yeah, retweet. And now you know why she's saying all the sentimental things. The only thing that I have to add is that I'm leaving Curtis with more questions than answers, which sounds like a bad thing, but I promise you that it isn't. I'm very, very grateful that the experience I've had here was evocative enough to give me more questions.
So thank you, Curtis, for everything. It's been quite the ride. And to close, I'd like to share a quote from the musical Wicked. I do believe I've been changed for the better. Because I knew you, I have been changed for good. Congratulations.
Thank you, Nikan. Thank you, Ben. Now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce to all of you our distinguished guest speaker, Alan Gilbert. One of America's most celebrated and accomplished classical musicians, Grammy Award-winning conductor Alan Gilbert has been chief conductor of Hamburg's NDR Elbphilharmonie Orchestra since the fall of 2019. Since the spring of 2021, he has also been music director of the Royal Swedish Opera, where he was appointed as Royal Court Kapellmeister by the King of Sweden in 2022. Having served for more than a decade as principal guest conductor of the NDR Symphony Orchestra Hamburg, as the German ensemble was formerly known, he has been widely acclaimed for taking the orchestra, which makes its home in the city's already iconic venue, the Elbphilharmonie, to new artistic heights. Alan is also conductor laureate of the Royal Stockholm Philharmonic. In 2017, Alan concluded an 8-year tenure as music director of the New York Philharmonic, which was widely regarded as transformative. The first native New Yorker to hold the post, he succeeded, in the words of the New York Times, in building a legacy that matters and helping to change the template for what an American orchestra can be. Alan maintains a major international presence as guest conductor of the foremost American, European, and Asian orchestras. A passionate interpreter of opera, he has led productions at La Scala, the Met, the Los Angeles Opera, Zurich Opera, and Santa Fe Opera, where he previously served as the first appointed music director. He is also an active chamber musician on the viola.
If I have to.
Please, please. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Who frequently collaborates with colleagues in orchestras he conducts and with some of the world's most renowned soloists. Among the highlights of Alan's current season to date have been a 5-city Asian tour and concert performances of Richard Strauss' Elektra with the NDR Elbphilharmonie Orchestra, the company premiere of Dvorak's Rusalka, and a seasonal staging of Mozart's The Magic Flute with the Royal Swedish Opera. A concert also celebrating the 500th anniversary of the Royal Swedish Opera Orchestra, and return engagements as guest conductor with Berlin Staatskapelle, Leipzig Gewandhaus Orchestra, and Orchestra Philharmonie de Radio France. He is currently enjoying a long planned for sabbatical. I'm jealous. As Alan has received an honorary doctorate from Curtis and from Westminster Choir College, and was elected to the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, he was also named Officer of the Order of Arts and Letters by the French government and received a Foreign Policy Association Medal for his cultural diplomacy. Alan is a 1992 conducting graduate of Curtis, where he studied with Otto Werner Müller. Please welcome Alan Gilbert.
What an honor and thrill it is to be back here at Curtis, a place that was so important in my ongoing journey as a musician and a person. I'm not gonna lie, getting a Lifetime Achievement Award was not on my radar screen. When I got the call earlier this spring, my first thought was, damn, I guess I'm officially old. My second thought was, really, have I actually achieved enough to merit recognition for what I've done up until now? Have I achieved anything at all? This is not false modesty. Rather, I think it accurately reflects the reality of being a musician, or any other creative artist for that matter. No matter how hard we work, how far we travel on our artistic path, there's always the feeling that the road ahead is as long as it ever was. We never seem to get closer to our destination. Interestingly, for me, and I believe for most people, this is not as discouraging as it may sound. It is part of what makes being a musician so rewarding. We are fortunate to be in a field in which there are far more questions, shut up, Ben, far more questions than answers, where solutions only lead to more challenges, and where the future never stops being a fascinating playground with endless potential. Music cannot be solved, it can only be lived. I had heard about Curtis from a young age. When I was a student in the Saturday pre-college program at Juilliard, it's the truth. People spoke about Curtis reverently, also the truth. It sounded like a magical place inhabited by musical geniuses who existed in an anachronistic place where time had stopped to preserve the purest, most elevated way to experience and make music. It was also free. Attending Curtis seemed unrealistic at the time, but the idea resurfaced when I thought about studying conducting as I neared the end of my college career at Harvard. Jim Ross, hey Jim, full circle moment, and by the way, happy birthday. Yeah. Jim was an important mentor and friend who told me that he thought it might be a perfect place for me. He spoke lovingly, if not entirely reverently, about a musical culture that was old-fashioned, somehow in a good sense. He told me about afternoon tea, wearing ties, lots of things that made it seem a bit like a dreamy historical costume drama. I had other friends in the conducting program who told me about the incredible level of the weekly lab orchestra and the easy access to the Philadelphia Orchestra, and what a faculty. I would get to spend time around many musical heroes I had only admired from afar. So here I ended up. And for the most part, I had 3 wonderful years. The conducting program was super intense, led by the inimitable Otto Werner Müller, who also guided orchestral activities at the school. Lab orchestra was indeed amazing. Where else could you study conducting and work with a top-tier ensemble every week? Mr. Müller's approach to score study set a standard for thoroughness that I have never seen equaled. I was surrounded by dazzling students, many of whom remain dear colleagues and friends to this day. But there was also a darker side. I remember being almost paralyzed with anxiety before lessons, and the hyper-controlled music making that Mr. Müller enforced felt at times like a claustrophobic straitjacket. I became so discouraged during my second year that I sometimes seriously wondered where the music was for me. Mr. Müller was not the only teacher at the school who espoused what I might charitably call a tough love approach. And I was aware of many fellow students who also went through crises of varying degrees. Most of us persevered and stumbled through, but I've sometimes wondered whether whatever success we have subsequently enjoyed was because of or despite what we went through. I hasten to add that Mr. Müller was undeniably a brilliant teacher with an encyclopedic musical knowledge. I've spoken with musicians who worked with him, both conductors and orchestral musicians. They agree that his musical approach was formative and essential. Many say that they think of him every single day as they make musical decisions. And there were so many other wonderful people on the faculty. I must first mention and remember Yumi Scott, who was my violin teacher here. She was the most positive, supportive teacher imaginable, and I miss her terribly. But there were so many others. Annie Petit, my secondary piano teacher, gave me a new understanding of sound production. Ford Lollerstedt, David Loeb, I could go on. These people were all crucial in making the Curtis experience meaningful for me. I must also mention a moment when I came to an important realization. What turned things around after my difficult period was a conscious decision I made. My reaction to feeling hemmed in by the way I was being made to conduct had been to resist and fight the direction Müller insisted on. So I made a choice. From this point, I decided to try a different approach, to give in. Not exactly to capitulate, but instead to try to find what was good and useful about what had given me so much grief. I figured, what the hell? As long as I'm here, I shouldn't spend my energy fighting. At least get what I can from the situation. I'm not selling my soul. I can always do what I want after I leave anyway. So I tried to embrace the Mueller way wholeheartedly, at least temporarily. This may sound passive, but it was in fact a game changer. My relationship with Mr. Mueller and the school took an immediate turn for the better, and interestingly, I was able to learn much more and much more effectively afterwards. It turns out that trying to identify the positive aspects in musical approaches that feel inimical to one's own can lead to unexpected epiphanies. It can also lead to deeper understanding of the fact that there are an infinite number of valid ways to make music. This is something that I've continued to grapple with, and I have continued to try to improve and integrate into everything I do. It hasn't always been easy. I believe that thinking one is always right is not an uncommon attribute that Curtis grads share. And for a conductor, it can certainly be useful to feel confident in one's musical choices. I know that I had an unhealthy dogmatism that could give my conducting a bossy dimension that I'm not entirely proud of. I felt that a retard had to be shaped exactly like this, that a tempo needed to be 92.5 to the quarter, and so on. But I'll never forget an open rehearsal that I observed at Tanglewood one summer when Yo-Yo Ma joined a young quartet playing Schubert's Transcendent Cello Quintet. In the rehearsal, Yo-Yo was unfailingly amenable. He literally agreed to every single request made of him. You want this slower? Sure thing. Was I too loud here? Sorry, I'll try to play softer next time. You'd rather not take time in this transition? Of course, what was I thinking? I was actually shocked at how accommodating the most famous person in the group was. What was even more earth-shaking was how, in the performance that followed, Yo-Yo faithfully did everything the way they had rehearsed, and still sounded as if he was naturally and fully following his own musical muse. His musical persona was clearly the strongest guiding force behind the collective music making. There was no sense that he had made any compromises. This was a life-changing lesson for me. I started to understand that giving in doesn't mean giving up. Adjusting and accepting other ways of making music don't necessarily mean abandoning one's identity. In fact, one's identity can be stronger and richer if it is large enough and open enough to listen in a way that melds with surrounding musical spirits. I've been thinking about teaching in music education a lot recently, both because I had to write the speech, but also since I am approaching the halfway point of my previously mentioned first ever 6-month sabbatical. This time away from conducting has given me time to relax, to be at home, cook, practice the violin properly, and think about big things like life and small things like music, all without the pressure of upcoming concerts. Our profession can lead to obsession, and it is good to be reminded that it is only a small part of our existence. It has been amazing, and I highly recommend it. Coincidentally, this time to think and prepare this talk has converged with work that I've been doing for a conservatory in Germany that has asked me to create a new curriculum for their conducting program. So it has been very much on my mind. What do you have to know in order to be a great musician? What skills do you need? Can these things be taught? And the more I've thought about these things, now and over the years, the more I think that fundamentally the primary responsibility of a school and its teachers is to nurture and to encourage two interconnected things. First, that most elusive of talents, the ability to work hard. And second, a deep love of music. Curtis students are by definition competent at a super high level. It is so hard to get in here that you are all in the top echelon of musicians from the get-go. There's of course, no question of your talent, that is a given. But the ability to spend the time and energy needed, the talent to work hard, to develop a musical point of view is what, in my opinion, separates the great from the merely very good. Forgive me if I'm starting to sound preachy, that's not my intention at all. I stress that I'm not talking about becoming famous, about achieving superficial outward success. Success is such a slippery concept anyway that it is futile to even try to define it. It means something different to each of us. But there is one aspect of success that I believe is shared by all. Success is finding the possibility of doing what we love. Let me underline this. It is not doing what we love. Success is achieving the luxury of doing what we love. That is what I think teachers and schools should aspire to impart. A work ethic that is informed by and based on love. Honestly, I don't remember the thousands upon thousands of analytical details about scores that Mueller pointed out during the classes in his overheated apartment on Locust Street. But I will never forget the tear in his eye when he spoke about the coda of the Eroica Symphony. Sure, there are some bits of information that have stayed with me, principles and pieces of knowledge that experienced teachers can give to students that are practical and save lots of time. Don't neglect the note before a shift. Count rests on your hand going one way up to 5 and the other way on to 10. Mozart almost never wrote a diminuendo. These are some of the many important and memorable tidbits I've acquired over the years, but honestly, what I mostly remember about my teachers is not these things. I remember how they lived their lives as musicians, how they felt the joy, the dedication that informed their life's work. I'm sure that Curtis has changed since I was here. Change has been necessary and overdue as the world and the world of music have changed. I've been happy to see a growing embrace of an expanded view of what classical music is, what it can mean, and from where it can spring. There has been some progress in writing centuries-old biases and prejudices, and it has been wonderful to see the imagination and fresh paradigms that Curtis has encouraged and supported. But I am sure that at the heart of the matter still lies the basic challenge we all face. How do we find our own personal relationship to music? How do we use our energy and enthusiasm to fuel personal expression that touches and inspires others? There are as many different answers to these questions as there are people in this room. Each of us needs to breathe life into a musical existence that allows us to use our capacity with love. I've been lucky. Anything I've achieved has been possible because I found a way to do this. Maybe not always the right way, and certainly not the only way, but one that has worked for me. Even as the recognition I'm receiving today celebrates a body of work, I'm already looking forward to searching for more, just as I urge you all never to stop searching for more. Thank you, congratulations, and best of luck.
Thank you very much. We are very pleased to present this Lifetime Achievement Award to Alan Gilbert in recognition of his extraordinary achievements as a global leader in classical music, and his lasting impact on musicians as performers, creators, and artist citizens, his advocacy for works by contemporary composers, and most of all, his dedication to the Curtis community.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jeanne McGinn, the Ruth W. and A. Morris Williams Jr. Chair of Liberal Arts and Senior Associate Dean of Academics, who will present the Landis Award. Jeanne?
just grab the stash. The Joan Hutton Landis Award for Excellence in Academics is named for Professor Emerita Joan Hutton Landis. Dr. Landis served as chair of the Liberal Arts Department for 24 years and was an inspiring teacher, mentor, and avid supporter of young musicians' careers. Thanks to Dr. Landis's leadership, the study of great literature and art is a vital part of the Curtis curriculum. Students who took a poetry or Shakespeare class with her can attest to her inventive wit and intellectual gifts, and to the ways in which her extraordinary teaching broadened and deepened their Curtis experience and their lives as artists. Today, I am pleased to award the 2026 Joan Hutton Landis Award for Excellence in Academics to Alexander Ehrlich Herzog.
It is my pleasure now to introduce Dr. Julia Savatsky and Mr. Thomas Weaver, Curtis's interim associate chairs of musical studies, who will present the Aldwell Award.
The Curtis Musical Studies curriculum is based upon the rigorous study of traditional musical craft. We believe that an intimate knowledge of the musical techniques as practiced by the master composers themselves brings us closest to their music.
The Edward Aldwell Award for Excellence in Musical Studies, established in honor of Edward Aldwell, who served on the Curtis Musical Studies faculty for 35 years, is presented to a graduating student who has demonstrated outstanding ability and performance in musical studies throughout their undergraduate years at Curtis.
It is our great pleasure to present the 2026 Edward Aldwell Award for Excellence in Musical Studies to Ben Price.
It is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Mary Javian, Director and Chair of the Curtis Center for Leadership, Innovation, and Partnership, who will present the Provost's Award for Achievement in Career Studies. Mary?
The Career Studies curriculum provides opportunities for Curtis students to build necessary skills in technology, pedagogy, entrepreneurship, and community-based projects, often in partnership with organizations throughout the Philadelphia area. It is my great pleasure to present the 2026 Provost Award for Achievement in Career Studies to Joan Herget.
It is my pleasure now to introduce Mr. Richard McGovern, Curtis's Director of Student Life and International Student Affairs, who will present the Provost's Award for Outstanding Citizenship. Rick?
Good morning. Students come to Curtis to be great performers, but during their enrollment, learning who they are is every bit as valuable to the school community as what they do. The Provost's Award for Outstanding Citizenship recognizes a graduating student that has contributed to the Curtis community through their integrity, compassion, involvement, responsibility, and respectfulness. I am so pleased to present the 2026 Provost's Award for Outstanding Citizenship to Dasara Beta.
It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. David Bahanovich, Associate Provost, who will present the Milka Violin Artist Prize. David.
The Milka Violin Artist Prize is awarded to a graduating violinist who is committed to participating in international violin competitions during the year after graduation. The prize is funded by Mr. George Marco Totovi and the Marco Totovi Foundation in memory of Mr. Marco Totovi's mother, Milka, who was a gifted teacher of young violinists for many years. It gives me great pleasure to present the 2026 Milka Violin Artist Prize to Din Din Wang.
It is my pleasure to ask Ms. Amanda Majewski, Pedagogical Advisor for Voice and Opera, to join us on the stage for the presentation of the Angelo Silvestro Festorazzi Scholarship and Mellon Prizes, respectively.
The Angelo Silvestro Festorazzi Scholarship was established by the estate of Marguerite Festorazzi to recognize promising voice students.
And the Mellon Prize was established by the estate of Marguerite Festorazzi to recognize promising piano students.
It gives me great pleasure to present the 2026 Festorazzi Scholarship to Nikan, Ingabire, Kanate.
And I'm very pleased to present the 2026 Mellon Award to Delvin Lin and Na Xiao Tao.
It is my pleasure to invite Mr. DiBerardino. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Provost and Dean of the Conservatory and Rock Chair of Composition Studies, who will present the Hunter, Johnson, and Vernon Woodwind Prize.
Created by Curtis alumna Marcia Hunter, voice, class of '77, her husband Brian Johnson, and longtime Curtis patrons Dr. Thomas and Mrs. Patricia Vernon, the Hunter, Johnson, and Vernon Woodwind Prize honors outstanding woodwind musicians as selected by the woodwind faculty. It gives me great pleasure to present the Hunter, Johnson, and Vernon Woodwind Prize to Anastasia Samsel and Annie Lee.
created and named for our longtime Curtis patron. The Charles Miller Award honors outstanding musicians through 3 established prizes: the Fritz Kreisler Award for violin, the Sergei Rachmaninoff Award for piano, and the Alfredo Casello Award for composition. The award is given on a rotating basis to students who have excelled in these areas. It gives me great pleasure to present the 2026 Sergei Rachmaninoff Award to Ligny.
Supported by the Schwartz Foundation, the Schwartz Prize is awarded to a graduating composition student who will compose a new chamber music work to be premiered at an upcoming performance attended by the composer. It gives me great pleasure to present the 2026 Schwartz Foundation Award to Amane Sakaguchi. I'm happy to ask Dr. McGinn to present the Presser Scholar Award.
Through the generosity of the Presser Foundation, Curtis is able to recognize the outstanding achievements of a graduating student who exemplifies high academic and musical accomplishment, leadership, and citizenship through the Presser Scholar Award. It gives me great pleasure to present the 2026 Presser Scholar Award to Ben Price.
It is now my pleasure to reintroduce Alan Morrison, organ 91 and accompanying 93, who will perform aria by Charles Callahan. Provost Di Berardino will now present the candidates for the Curtis Institute of Music Certificate, Diploma, and Post-Baccalaureate Diploma.
Will the candidates please rise? Mr. President, I present for the certificate, diploma, and post-baccalaureate diploma of the Curtis Institute of Music these candidates who have been approved by the faculty and the provost.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you this diploma, officially signed and sealed with the seal of the corporation, in recognition of the honorable and satisfactory completion of your studies at the Institute.
Ross Makatangai, New York, New York, majoring in opera with Mr. Schneibly. Vincent Garcia Hedinger, San Antonio, Texas, majoring in cello with Mr. Kanalakis, Mr. Hoffman, Ms. Kendall, Ms. Lee, and Mr. Wiley. Diego Pena, in absentia, Southlake, Texas, majoring in bassoon with Ms. Hargenday and Mr. Matsukawa. Nicholas Ivy, in absentia, St. Petersburg, Florida, majoring in horn with Mr. Lang and Ms. Montone. Johan Combe-Morel, Grenoble, France, majoring in conducting with Maestro Nézet-Séguin and Maestro Ross. Delvin Lynn, Auckland, New Zealand, majoring in piano with Ms. Kan. Harem O, in absentia, Daejun Korea, majoring in violin with Ms. Goto. Soomin Kim, Seoul, Korea, majoring in viola with Mr. Amory and Ms. Hwang. Anya Victoria Lewis, Cleveland, Ohio, majoring in cello with Mr. Kanalakis, Mr. Hoffman, Ms. Kendall, Ms. Lee, and Mr. Wiley. Will the graduates please be seated?
Provost Di Berardino will now present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Music.
Will the candidates please rise? Mr. President, I present for the degree of Bachelor of Music these candidates who have been approved by the faculty and the provost and who have met the requirements of the State Board of Education of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer the degree of Bachelor of Music, admitting you to all the rights and privileges which pertain to that degree throughout the world, in token of which I present this degree, officially signed and sealed with the seal of the corporation.
Shikta Mukherjee, Edison, New Jersey, majoring in voice with Ms. Faulkner and Ms. Majeski. Carlos Bukovskis, in absentia. Vidzem, Latvia, majoring in piano, with Mr. McDonald. Nachuan Tao, Xiamen, People's Republic of China, majoring in piano, with Mr. Solzhenitsyn. Lin Yi, Ningbo, People's Republic of China, majoring in piano with Ms. Kan and Mr. Solzhenitsyn. Radomir Ramushkov Danilov, Garden City, Michigan, majoring in guitar with Mr. Starobin and Mr. Viola. Leah Amory, in absentia, New York, New York, majoring in violin with Ms. Frank and Ms. Keefe. Jacques Forestier, in absentia, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, majoring in violin with Mr. Ashkenazi and Ms. Frank. Dandan Jingfei Wan, Changsha, People's Republic of China, majoring in violin with Mr. Ashkenazi, Ms. Frank, Ms. Goto, and Ms. Kavafian. Dindin Jingyi Wan, Changsha, People's Republic of China, majoring in violin with Mr. Ashkenazi, Ms. Frank, and Ms. Kavafi. Ahmad Zolfagari, in absentia, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, majoring in viola with Mr. Amory, Mr. Díaz, and Ms. Huang. Laura Navasardian, in absentia, New York, New York, majoring in cello with Mr. Hoffman, Ms. Kendall, Ms. Lee, and Mr. Wiley. Christian Luevano, in absentia, Denton, Texas, majoring in double bass with Mr. Meyer and Mr. Robinson. Xiaoxi Annie Li, Beijing, People's Republic of China, majoring in flute with Mr. Kaner and Ms. Knox. Anastasia Samsel, Guilford, Connecticut, majoring in flute with Mr. Kaner and Ms. Knox. Alexander Ehrlich Herzog, Concord, Massachusetts, majoring in clarinet with Mr. McGill and Mr. Jeanne.
Congratulations, sir.
Hwasup Jung, Seoul, Korea, majoring in clarinet with Mr. McGill and Mr. Jeanne. Ben Price, Portland, Oregon, majoring in oboe with Ms. Needleman and Mr. Tondra. Dasara Beda, Cleveland, Ohio, majoring in trumpet with Mr. Bilger, Mr. Kernow, Mr. Jones, and Mr. Sachs. Will the graduates please be seated?
Provost DiBerardino will now present the candidates for the degree of Master of Music.
Will the candidates please rise? Mr. President, I present for the degree of Master of Music these candidates who have been approved by the faculty and the provost and who have met the requirements of the State Board of Education of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Music, admitting you to all the rights and privileges which pertain to that degree throughout the world, in token of which I present you with this degree, officially signed and sealed with the seal of the corporation.
Isaac Krieger, in absentia, Dover, Ohio, majoring in composition with Dr. Holland, Dr. Kirsten, Dr. Mackey, and me. Amane Sakaguchi, Tokyo, Japan, majoring in composition with Dr. Holland, Dr. Kirsten, Dr. Mackey, and me. Sarah White Palmer, New York, New York, majoring in organ with Mr. Morrison and Mr. Brilhart. Landry Nicholas Allen, in absentia, West Monroe, Louisiana, majoring in opera with Mr. Levini. Nikan Ingabire Kanate, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, majoring in opera with Ms. Faulkner and Ms. Majeski. Changchun, People's Republic of China, majoring in opera with Mr. Levini. Nathaniel Schludecker, in absentia, Terre Haute, Indiana, majoring in opera with Mr. Schneibly and Ms. Van Ness. Emelina Hunning, Perth, Australia, majoring in violin with Mr. Beilman and Ms. Keefe. Jake Dongyoung Shim, Seoul, Korea, majoring in violin with Mr. Ashkenazi, Ms. Frank, and Ms. Kavafian. Anis Churklam Ma, Hong Kong, majoring in viola with Mr. Amory and Ms. Huang. Joan Herget, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, majoring in cello with Ms. Kendall, Ms. Lee, and Mr. Wiley. Jackson Howard, Chilliwack, British Columbia, Canada, majoring in trombone with Mr. Haroz and Mr. Vaughn.
Will the entire graduating class please rise? I am pleased to present to you the class of 2026. You have just become members of a very, very special group. With that in mind, I would like to introduce you to our good friend and faculty member, Amanda Majeski, who will welcome you on behalf of Curtis alumni worldwide. Amanda?
Will the graduates please be seated?
Class of 2026, congratulations. All of us, alumni near and far, are elated to be the first to welcome you all with open arms into the Curtis alumni community. You know, when I was first asked to make these remarks, I asked my 17-year-old stepdaughter, who was preparing for her own high school graduation, what she thought all graduates needed to hear. She thought for a minute, then ever so lovingly and honestly said, "Amanda, no one is really going to care all that much. Everyone just wants you to get on with it." Fair point, sweet girl. However, as someone who almost 20 years ago skipped her own Curtis graduation ceremony because she was too busy getting on with it, I now recognize the importance of slowing down, honoring the present moment, listening, and noting the gains as they come. So, validate yourselves, class of 2026. There is so much to celebrate that has gathered you all into this familiar room to reach this unfamiliar moment. There are a lot of feelings to notice too. Some of you may feel elated, ready, secure. Others might feel uncertain, untrusting. Many may feel the conflict of feeling ready to leave, yet sad to go. Change is tricky, yet it is often the constant in our chosen field. The path forward is neither easy nor guaranteed. I remember it well. We leave the safety and security of Curtis's walls, and suddenly the stakes feel higher. The whiplash of a career filled with high highs and low lows can feel destabilizing. We doubt our relevancy in an art form where the supply seems higher than the demand. We realize that compared to non-musicians, we have selected the road less traveled, which is filled with unforeseen complexities and inconveniences. And even though we may have family and friends who support us freely, it can often feel like that lone IKEA pan that is ever present in every temporary apartment on the road is our only companion. You'll get that reference a little later. Here's what I, as an alumna of Curtis, have found to be the balm amidst uncertainties. Because as artists we are always students, we take the good stuff with us. Curtis is not, nor has it ever been, a few buildings in Rittenhouse Square. Nor is it relegated to a period of time in anyone's life. Curtis is what lingers with you as you forge your own definitions of artistic and personal success and fulfillment. Curtis is the face of an old colleague you are not expecting to see in the orchestra as you step onto the operatic stage. Curtis is in your curiosity as you challenge yourself to take on a new piece. Curtis is in your tenacity as you face uncertainty but choose to create anyway. Curtis is in the friendships that remain and deepen as time passes. Curtis is in your leadership, your humility, and your collaboration. And if you're as lucky as I have been, Curtis will welcome you home and maybe even to the faculty when it's time for your career to evolve. So, create fearlessly, be brave, and trust yourself and your work. You are not alone. The life force of Curtis, all of us, have got you. The support is unconditional, and with this gift comes a most precious responsibility. Just as we are cheering for you, caring for you, and rooting for you, you must do so for the next. The welcome that you seek, offer it to another. The support that you crave, provide it in the way you speak to a colleague. and the generosity and kindness you have received here, pay it forward when the time is right to the next generation. Welcome to your most joyful and important of roles. You are now the givers. Fill your lives and your art and your choices with empathy, compassion, and generosity, as this is what sustains and moves, beautifies, inspires, and shines brightest. Forward and onward, class of 2026. Bravi tutti.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. It's been a long road. There's one group here today with us that we haven't actually stopped to thank. And it's a really incredibly important group. The parents and family members that have made it possible for all of you to get to where you are today. So could we take just one moment and thank them? Think about when you started playing or doing what you do here at Curtis, writing music, singing, playing. Think of the support that you got. And then think about your time at Curtis and the fact that the school is committed to helping all of our students to accomplish as much as they can. And so following in Amanda's message, I think it's really important to think about the fact that the sooner we think about our role in, as Amanda said, paying it forward, it's important. Because I know that what we do is so difficult, is so time consuming, you have to be so concentrated on what we're doing, how we're doing it, the next goal, if you will, whether it's an audition, a concert, a competition. It's sort of all-consuming, but I think it's good to stop and think about the fact that we are where we are and we're having the opportunities and the possibilities that we're having because of the support that we've had from others. And I think that that is important when we start thinking about how do we start to give back. It's something that I say every year, but I think it's worth repeating. The sooner you can start teaching someone, the happier and the more fulfilled you will be. Because when you start giving without expecting anything back, which is what you've gotten, then I think you'll see that life is a very different experience. I wish every one of you the greatest success, but more important, I want you to have an incredibly fulfilled and happy career. So I send you with all very best wishes. Don't forget that we will always be here to welcome you back anytime. And please keep us informed as to your aspirations, your goals, and anything we can continue to do to help you along the way. Good luck, and a huge, huge thank you for what you've done for all of us. Thank you.
Congratulations again, class of 2026. Would everyone please rise for the graduate procession?